come back for another season?
Yeah, I think they're still talking. I think I've said all year kind of that my focus was here and on playing the games and sort of finishing the season. And now the season's over. Obviously, the questions are going to start coming in, but it's been 2 or 3 days. It's not enough really to sort of give it some proper thought that it deserves. I think it deserves some reflection and just like any season. So we'll take the time to do that the right way. But yeah, to answer your question, I like it here. I love it here. I like the guys. I like the city, and I had a great time.
So you have not made a decision that you're definitely going to go to unrestricted free agency or anything like that?
No, I haven't made any decisions. Again, I think it's obviously it's a big decision, and it deserves a lot of thought, a lot of sort of reflection, and on both parts, I think. And in order for that process to play itself out, I think that it's going to take some time, and it's not going to happen in the first couple days.
How much will the hire of a head coach kind of weigh in, do you think, to that decision?
I don't know. I mean, I really haven't thought about that much. I think obviously, as a player, your job is to play, and that's really all I concern myself with. I think. I mean, yeah, I think like obviously he's going to do what's best for the organization, and he's going to bring in the best coach he can. And I think as a player, your job is to come in and play and compete and help the team win. I think so. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that.
Does the fact that there's another change at head coach?
You knew there was a time that there was this time for your decision was eventually going to come. Since you got traded here to Buffalo, what have you learned about yourself throughout this course of the year, and how maybe what have you learned about yourself throughout the course of this year?
Yeah, I think you learn a lot. I think any season you go through, I think the longer you get a chance to sort of reflect and sort of through the summer you get a chance to look back on the season and you get a better perspective, I think, of sort of what sort of transpired. I think when you're in sort of the, I don't know, like the middle of the storm, I guess you could call it, it's a little bit tougher to sort of gain perspective and learn from things you're going through, I think. So I think anytime you go through a season, obviously you go through highs and lows, and I think for us we've gone through some pretty highs and pretty low lows, and you can always use those chances or those opportunities to learn, and I think that's what I'll do. I think that's what a lot of guys will do, and you sort of come back and be better off for it next year.
You mentioned the highs and lows. How did you guys start so well and then have the wheels just fall off as quickly as they did?
I don't know. I don't think there's an easy answer to that. I don't think there's only one reason or only one thing to sort of point to, I think. And just like when we were going through that sort of great run we had, there wasn't sort of one reason you could point to and say, oh, this is the reason we're doing so well. I think there's a lot of variables that come into play. There's a lot of things that sort of go on, and you just have to sort of the accumulation of all those little things sort of add up to sort of wins and losses. And I think for us, obviously we got on a bad little run, and it kind of stretched out, and we weren't able to stop it.
Jeff, the coach got fired. Why didn't this team respond to the coach at all the last 50 games?
I don't know. I don't know if the team didn't respond. I don't know. I think you go through it game by game, and there's certain games we didn't play well enough. We didn't win enough battles, and that's he's not out there battling. He's not out there playing the games. I think so. I think as a player, anytime a coach gets fired, it's tough because it's on you. I think you're playing the games, and I mean, he puts a structure and system in place, and your job is to go out there and execute. And I think on certain nights and more nights than obviously we could afford to, we weren't good enough at executing.
Was there enough player-to-player accountability inside this room?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't. That's kind of sort of like a general statement. I don't know really to sort of go into specifics. I don't think there's overall anything wrong with sort of player-to-player relationships. I think that over the course of the season, those things grow and develop, and I think that there was nothing that was sort of out of place this year.
Could you assess how much losing might weigh in your decision moving forward? Over fit?
I want to win. I think any player wants to win. I think sort of coming into this year, I think you have a good feeling, you want to win, and yeah, I mean, that weighs a big part of it.
I guess I refer to the bitter taste that of missing the playoffs this year and how things kind of transpired. Does that enter the equation when you want to make your decision, or where does fit? And obviously both sides want a deal done, but how much does just the bitter taste right now fall into that equation?
I don't know. It's tough to really put a firm sort of percentage on it. I think for me, I want to win. Obviously, it's not a good feeling where we are right now. We didn't accomplish our goal, yeah, I think that you go through the season, and if you don't accomplish your goal, you're disappointed. It's not a good feeling, I think, and then you go into the summer, you reflect and sort of figure out what you can do better to help the team next year and make sure that doesn't happen.
But Jeff, this is a franchise that has not been able to find a positive direction for a good period of time now. Now, I know you've only taken a recent part in that, but do you evaluate the big picture and the overall direction of things as you make your decision? How much does that weigh in, and yet you have another coaching change to deal with now?
Yeah, I think for me, I came here, obviously I knew where the organization finished last season before this one, and I was optimistic and positive about sort of the direction the organization's headed, and I don't think that's changed. I think obviously this season didn't go as planned, and we didn't get the results we wanted to, but I think the overall direction, I think some of the things I mentioned before the season with sort of the young core they have, the talent they have sort of in the system, I think it hasn't changed. I think that in sort of in a lot of cases that talent's going to keep getting better. It's going to keep growing. I think you look at some of the young guys. I don't have to start naming them. You guys know who they are, but their first or second or even their first few years in the league, in a couple of years they're going to be even better. So that's just the reality, and I think there's still growth. I think there's still things that that we can sort of build on or can improve on, I think, as players. But I think that the organization's on a pretty good direction, if in my opinion.